Oh, hi there, and welcome back to Minecraft. In this video, we're going to talk about the clone command, how to use it, and some of the cool things you can do with it. So, before we get started, I just want to say that the clone command works in both Minecraft Java and Minecraft Bedrock editions, but you do need to have the ability to enter commands. So, if you're single player world, you need cheats enabled, or on a server, you need OP rights. If you don't have those, it will not work. So, some of you may be asking, Geeky, what exactly is the clone command? And to you, I say it's essentially copy and paste. That is the surface of it. So if you said, for example, had a structure there and you didn't want it there, you wanted it over here, you could clone it and place it there. That is the very basic version of it. Although, when used properly, it can save a lot of time building and it can open up so many possibilities for you, as you'll see if you watch this full video. I for one have found it very useful in building projects and incredibly useful for what I've been doing with this adventure map. So to show you how this works, I've built this amazing looking greenhouse, and yes, I know, it's really good. But I'm not really keen on where it actually is and need to actually move it, so yeah, we're going to use the clone command to do that. Now, a very simple use of it is you just hit slash and then clone, and then you just need the coordinates of the building that you want to move, or the build you want to move, and then where you want to move it to. But it's there's a few tips for you. So you could spend hours, if not days, trying to find the coordinates by hitting F3 and looking for it and then writing it down and moving around. But I mean, who's got time for that? So what the best thing to do is decide the corner. So if we say this is a square, so it's nice and easy. So we can say we want this bottom corner here, and I don't want this particular corner. I want this corner here, just underneath it, so that I can just move all of it. So if I look at that, slash clone, spell it right, clone, and then just tab, until we get that. That then creates that first corner, and it bases it on the block you're looking at. So in this instance, it's looking at that dirt block. Then we want to come around the other side, and then look at this block here. So that's the top corner, the opposite corner to where we started, which was over there. So then we just hit T up. We've got the rest of that's obviously the coordinates on the last one, and then we can just tab until you find these coordinates. So that then gives you the entire coordinates of this area. And now let's say I don't like it there. I think it actually needs to sit here. So the reason I picked that block underneath it is because I'm actually going to place this on this block here. So this is obviously the ground level, so I'm going to select that. So I need to hit up and then space and tab, and then that gives me the coordinates I'm looking at. If I hit enter, maybe move further away, they overlap, it doesn't like that. I want it here. So this is an example of why you don't want to just copy everything I do. Copy that, we'll delete those coordinates and we'll tab to the new coordinates. And there we go, we have it in place and it's the right height, it doesn't fall into the ground or hover over, etc, etc. It will obviously copy it exactly as it is, with the door, the window, and it's facing the same direction. So you want to make sure that you've got the space for it and you get the orientation right before you start. That's the very basics of it. But let's have a look at some of the other things you can do with it, and some better things than just making a basic square greenhouse. Oh, and before we go too much further, you'll notice that I showed you this on a big open plain as opposed to in the middle of the town. That's because the clone command can be extremely dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So be very careful. If you were to... Well, I mean, there's no undo with it, for a start. So if I was to copy that building and then place it over here and then go halfway through that building, I would be in serious trouble. I wouldn't be able to get that building back, and I wouldn't be able to undo it. I would have to look at rebuilding it from scratch and from memory. So I suggest to you, if you're new to it, find an open plane, practice there, practice cloning, practice how it places and the way it comes out, just so you know what you're doing, and then you can move on to bigger and better things. Okay, so live example. I've built this building, but I absolutely hate the roof. Fortunately, I've got the help from other people, and Drossrail, one of the builders, has designed this new roof to go on top. And we also have the clone command, so we're going to look at trying to move that over there and hope for the best that we don't destroy everything. But first, we need to remove the old roof because it's going to get in the way. So let me do that. Okay, so the original roof has now been removed, and I've also put in a few placeholders so I can work out the coordinates I need to work from. So in order to do that, I basically found the furthest bottom corner here, and I just basically bricked it over there and then bricked it over there, found that center point and then got rid of all the others, and then did the same on the other side but at the top. So we've got a top and a bottom corner on opposite sides, and I've also worked out on the opposite side where I want to place it, the block that's equivalent to that one, which is here. So that's obviously the same this way and that way. So that should work, hopefully. But the test is in the pudding. So let's give it a go. So we want to look at this block. So clone, and then tab, tab, tab. Perfect. And then we want to come back to this block and press T, up, and then space, tab, 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 bosh, done. And then we can actually, yeah, well, we can remove them now or afterwards, but we'll remove them afterwards. Then we want to come down here to this block, and we want to make sure that we're in that block, looking at the same block, and then T, up. So that's just T to bring up the obviously text, up to go to the previous one, and then we want to space and tab, tab, tab to get the new coordinates. And is that aligned properly? Have I done that right? I think that is perfect. It might need a few tweaks just because obviously the old roof was sitting slightly differently. So, I mean, probably won't need these, for example, but I'll work around that and tweak it. But yeah, that's moved that over to the same place. It's evenly distributed into the center of it, and that's perfect. So we can then delete that one. So another thing I've used the clone command for is on this slot machine that I've made previously. And I'm obviously not going to go the ins and outs of how this works, but basically you'd throw your iron ingots in there and you've got a chance of winning. If all 3 lights come on, it basically shoots out an emerald or a diamond there. No win. Okay, never mind. But it all works via redstone. But for the win part, I've obviously got the dispenser there that's got items in it, and that is set up using the clone command. So if we look behind here, I've actually got some chests hidden away, which basically, let me just open this up. This chest fills the hoppers which fill the dispenser. Now you could ask why I've not just cloned the dispenser altogether. That's because I want to try and randomize it. I've got there's diamonds and emeralds, so depending on what comes out, I want to make sure that there's enough chance of everything. So this way just seems like there's more chance of getting more diamonds in there eventually, because yeah, it just seems to work like that. But yeah, anyway, that's irrelevant. So we cloned the chest. So we've got a couple of command blocks here. So when there's a win, the redstone comes around here and then basically sets it up. And I think it's that one. Yeah, basically it just clones one chest to the other one. So because it's just one block, when we do the sort of the X and the Y coordinates, you just do the same one because it's the same place. So obviously start there, finish there, same place, and then throw it out at the right place, which is there. So that works the same way, and it's very useful to have. It does make things more interesting. And I say the only reason I'm doing it like that is because this map is downloadable, and I don't want you guys coming along downloading the map and then running out of items. I want you to be able to play it for as long as you want, so this will automatically fill up whenever it's emptied. So in the same principle that you can clone a chest and its contents and move it from one place to another, you can do the same with things like levers. Now that's come very useful in this build, which is a labyrinth style maze, and basically all the walls move around. There's levers periodically around it to basically obviously move stuff, make it more challenging to get through essentially. But the one thing I did notice as soon as it was built was the fact that once you've completed it, if you come back to try it again, all those levers are left the state that they were when you finished. So that's why we use the clone command here. So we've actually come underground, and there's a pressure plate as you come out, which comes here, which essentially uses these 2 command blocks, which clones various things, but it's these 2 levers. They are cloned in the state that they were in, so on this one on top of the block, that one on the side of the block, whether it's on, off, that does make a difference. And then, as I say, they'll step on that pressure plate up there, activates both of these, and then sets a couple of the levers back to where they should be, or where I think they should be. So that's very useful, and it's very easy to do, just like the chest, and so useful. So there you have it, the very basics of using the clone command in Minecraft, Java and Bedrock. And I mean, that's just really scratching the surface. So if you would like to see more, if you'd like to sort of get an idea of some of the other uses you could use the command for, let me know in the comments below, and we'll look at making a follow-up video with this. Or if there's anything else, any other commands, etc. you want to go in more detail with, let me know as well. But unfortunately, that's all we got time for today. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big like and a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, and obviously tell your friends about it too, because if you like it, there's a good chance they will too. But as always, I've been Geek Gamer, you've been awesome, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.